Okay then, Paul. First of all, I think the topic that's on everyone's lips, Alan Marriott. What's the latest with the Stags keeper?
We're waiting on a scan for him tomorrow at 2:15, so we'll know more. As soon as we know more, then we can let the rest of the world know.
A huge slice of bad luck, wasn't it, for him?
Yeah, I mean, the boy's just come back in. He's a great keeper. And I mean, Groffy had been playing well, so he's come back in, looking good into the game, and then all of a sudden spills one, and then the forward goes and, leaves him with 9 fingers.
What's the plan now then? Is it Groff back in, and what's the situation with Neil Collett at the moment?
Well, we've still got 2 goalkeepers, to choose from. So Groff is still around, and it's just one of those things where we're still able with 2 goalkeepers. So we've got two guys to choose from. So come that tomorrow, we've got a good choice.
What about for the FA Trophy final? That is the one that we're looking at. With Groff not being available, then that brings Collett back into the equation, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why we have so many keepers, and that's why we've got such a diverse choice of able keepers. And I mean, it's we just got to hope as well on Marriott. Hope that it's not too bad, just for the boys' sake, because there is a big game coming up, and there are a few big games coming up for us. So let's just hope we can have some good news from that scan tomorrow.
What was his mood like on Saturday? I bet he was devastated, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, you're going to be devastated when you get injured. And I mean, I don't know if you knew it, but I was one of the subs on the bench, and I was getting changed because I was going to go on before Groffy even in goal.
I was going to ask about that. Was there any time? I mean, you were in charge on Saturday. Was there any time that you felt I'm going to go on there?
I was itching at the bit. I mean, Conor Higginson was putting on the sub side, and I was bringing my top off, and I had the gaffer in my ear saying, "Don't do it." And I was desperate to get on, but the boys did really well on Saturday. They managed the game really, really well, and I was proud of them because I was in charge for the day from the sidelines, and I was champing at the bit to get on, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? The boys did it for themselves.
How different was it on Saturday not having Duncan Russell next to you?
Didn't have my mate with me, did I? So it was I had to have even broader shoulders. So, but it was good because I had him in my ear. So it was like I kept thinking God, but it wasn't God. It was the gaffer.
Looking at tomorrow, it is Southport. They come here for a big reason, really. They need points to stay up, don't they, at the moment? So they'll be coming here desperate to win.
Of course they will. I mean, any team at this point in time will come here and they'll want to win. Just like we go away from home, we want to beat teams as well. So we've got to address this game and address Southport with the same respect as we would address your Crawleys, your Lutons, your teams that are up there, your Rushden and Diamonds. So we've just got to do that, and hopefully we can get a few points on the board tomorrow.
They seem to be a bit unpredictable. Sometimes they get a great result against a top side, don't they, Southport?
Well, they're fighting, and teams may underestimate them. And I think if you underestimate anybody in this league, as we found out against Altrincham, you'll come unstuck. That said, we've just got to go about our business and make sure that we don't underestimate them, and we come away from the game. Doesn't matter what time we score, doesn't matter how we do it, but just come back in with 3 points.
I suppose the primary objective is not to concede first. That's happened a little too much recently, hasn't it?
The thing is, with our boys, we concede early, but you just know that there's petrol, fuel in the tank, and they're going to come back and they're going to knock the doors. We would love them not to concede early, but sometimes their style is just that's what they do. We're working on that, tooth and nail to stop that little trend happening. But these boys, if there's anyone in this league, the comeback specialists, our boys are that. So you never, if you're a fan, you should never leave the game. Especially even if we're 3-1 down, you should never leave, because you've got your Louis Briscoes, your Adam Smiths, you've got your players, your Paul Connors, players in the team who can score goals. I have nothing.
Are the slow starts, do you think, more a mental thing at the moment then? You've got to change the mindset a little bit on that?
Maybe. I mean, who's to know? I mean, it's one of those. I mean, if we can get them starting quickly and finishing how they always finish, then we've got ourselves a team here. And like we say, the gaffer and I are very, very early into our tenure here, and it's a building process. We're getting to know the characters of the players just as much as what everybody else is. So it's still an early building process.
What about tomorrow then? Team selection. There's been a bit of an injury problem. Is there any sign of that easing over the last few days?
Well, I am available for the game again tomorrow, so that's a big weight off the gaffer's mind. But I think it was nice to see a lot of the injuries on the training pitch today. You know, it's amazing what a win can do. The injuries, a lot of the injuries were looking good in their running today. So hopefully this week we should have a few back. But the way how the boys played on Saturday, they would have a very, very difficult time getting back in. A lot of the injuries, because those boys did themselves no harm on Saturday.
One player hardly not likely to be displaced is Louis Briscoe. The statue that they're thinking of probably building for him in the centre of Mansfield just keeps getting bigger and bigger by the week, doesn't it?
So does Louis. I think he's just one of these players who he looks massive, but he's deceptively quick. You can't stop him when he's on the move, and he's got a shot that rivals the hardest shot I've ever seen. Over the years, it's one of the hardest shots I've seen, if not the hardest. So yeah, I mean, if there's a statue going to be built of anybody, then I think it should be me. But second, I think it should be Louis. Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing really well this season.
What is it? Sorry, just on the injuries. So
Yeah.
Who's likely to be back and who's not?
Well, the boys. Sorry.
There's 7 of them, isn't there?
Well, there's 7 injuries, but they're all moving well. But
Is there anybody not training besides Reece Day?
No, they were all training. They were all training, doing light fitness tests and fitness work today. So I think they're all probably on their way back. But I wouldn't like to say who's fit from who's not fit, because we haven't had the feedback from the training today. So it's their first day back.
Yeah.
So at a push, you'll be asking for people at a push. So I wouldn't really like to say who it was, but all 7 of them were training today.
So Conor Higginson started on Saturday. How do you rate his performance, his first one here at Field Mill?
For first performances, it's just as good as what I've seen. You know what I mean? If he'd have scored, he'd have been. It would have been fitting, because he's come on. He's done well for somebody who's played the first 90 minutes. At this level, he didn't look out of place at all. He linked up. He had a good player in Steve Eisted behind him, who was marshalling him. He had the great players inside him, which was Tyrone and Muzza, marshalling him as well. So he had some great help out there, but he didn't do himself any harm.
How's he been in training today? Surely a first game has given him that extra incentive to put that little bit more in to make sure he's in tomorrow night.
Well, Conor is always enthusiasm. He's enthusiasm. He's a Mansfield lad, so he's got Mansfield in his heart. He's showed me that since the start of the season. I noticed him when I came through early doors back in September, August, So he's a great player, and he's got a good future in front of him. And what you saw on Saturday, I don't even think you've seen half of it. It's just whether we've just got to look after him, wrap him up in a bit of cotton wool, and make sure that he makes the progress that he should make for a player with his ability.
Luke Medley scored the equaliser on Saturday. It's his second game back now since his loan spell at Aldershot. Is he settling down well now and mixing in well with the lads?
Yeah, Luke's come back with a great new attitude. I think he's been sent away to Fresh Air Farm, and he's come back, and he's come back with a great atmosphere about him, great attitude, and he looks the part. He really does look the part. So he's a work in progress now. We can go forward. He looks dangerous. I mean, you should have seen him in training today. It was unbelievable. He scored 3. I'm talking postage stamp goals. If there was a Spider family living in the corner of the net, he would have killed them. So he's been scoring some good goals in training, and he's come back with a good attitude.
We mentioned briefly earlier about Duncan Russell being in the stands on Saturday. How do you think that worked? Would you like to perhaps do that again with you on the sidelines and him in the stands for the first half?
It's probably one of those things where it was just a change. I mean, it was forced on us, yeah. But who's to know? I mean, we don't know the answer to that question. It's not something Gaffer never usually likes to change things, so I don't know. But it kind of worked. It kind of worked on Saturday. But I mean, who's to know? You would never know. If the Gaffer stays up here, it probably wouldn't work to the Gaffer staying down there. I just like to think that the boys were just good on Saturday because they were good.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
You've got 5 5 and 6 home games now, you must surely see that as a good opportunity to get back in the top 10 really.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to get some points on the board because, like I said earlier, we've got Luton, Grimsby, and a few other teams. But we've got other teams that we see who are in and around us, who we feel that we should be beating, or we feel that we can get a good haul of points. We've had a lot of games called off, and our games played looks healthy compared to the other teams in and around us. So it's an opportunity for us to look at that and actually go for that, and we can turn this into a great season for us.
Yeah, I suppose games around are only good if you win them, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you'd rather have the points on board.
Yeah.
But when the team, you've got 7 of your strongest players coming back from injury, it looks good, because this time last week, a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't looking like that.
Yeah.